Buying gear for a backpacking trip can be an intimidating task. In this video, I'm gonna make that a lot easier. Hello friends, my name is Tara from the Dower duo. Buying gear for a backpacking trip can be exciting and nerve-wracking. When I began backpacking, I wanted to buy gear that was both useful and not a waste of money. That was met with a lot of research, like hours and hours of research, and also watching several gear reviews. After stressing out, I found myself just purchasing whatever gear a YouTuber recommended that I buy. Sometimes this is handy because I could get that hard decision process out of the way and just get to that fun part of backpacking and experiencing nature. But over time, I started realizing that that gear wasn't what I needed or what I wanted. We'll be going over 3 key points to consider when you're purchasing gear. The first one is understanding your adventure, the second one is gear specs, and third is those 8 characteristics of an item. Make sure to stay tuned to the end of the video because I'm going to share a pro tip with y'all that I wish I had before I started backpacking. The first key point that I have for y'all is to understand your adventure. An influencer can recommend a certain piece of gear, but if they're adventuring around Washington State and you're taking a trip on the Florida Trail, those are 2 completely different environments, and that piece of gear they recommend will not perform well. So understanding your specific venture will help narrow down your gear choices further. There are a couple things to know before you go. So 1 is location of your adventure. 2, duration. We also have weather and season is a big one. Any risk factors and also the environment. So like any trees, if there's no trees, if there's like a desert. All those things are good to consider before you actually go. So definitely research your specific adventure before you actually leave. Understanding gear specifications is key point number 2 that will give you an amount of knowledge for your upcoming purchase. So gear specs combined with understanding your personal adventure will help you further narrow down your gear choices. It will also give you an amount of confidence in your gear because you know it a little more, you personally know it a little more. And then also when you are researching, make sure you're using reputable resources. I've definitely found myself on some non-reputable resources that gave terrible advice. So please make sure you use reputable resources that are known for backpacking. Let's go over some basic but important topics to research before you actually buy. Additionally, if you're having trouble figuring out what items to invest in first, I have ordered this list by what you should buy first, second, third, and fourth. So the first one we have is shoes. Shoes can make or break a hike, and they're also one of your most highly personalized pieces of gear in your kit. So understanding that is really important. So what you want to research is waterproof versus non-waterproof. With that, breathability. You also want to research the support of shoes, and then also understand the different types of hiking shoes. So hiking shoe, your hiking boot, and then also your trail runner. Our shelter is the next thing we want to research. So you want to understand the differences between a tent and a hammock. You also want to understand capacities. Next is the different fabrics. So the difference between polyester, nylon, and Dyneema. You also want to understand single-walled tents, the difference between single-walled tents and double-walled tents. And then lastly, your tent seasons. Next to research is your sleeping bag or quilt. Understanding the temperature ratings is huge, so definitely research that one. Next is the filling, so the differences between down and synthetic. And then also understanding the shape of the bag will help you with comfort on your sleeping bag adventure. Next is your sleeping pad. Sleeping bag and sleeping pad should be paired successfully. So when you are researching both of those sleep systems, make sure you understand how to pair them so you get the best sleep possible. Also with your sleeping pad, understand R values. And then also understand the differences between closed cell sleeping pads and inflatable sleeping pads. And the last of the big 3 is your pack. So understanding the differences between external and internal frame, and then frameless. So a lot of people are going frameless because it's a lighter weight option, but that might not be the best for you. Another thing to research is load carrying capacity. your volume in liters, and then fitting a pack. That is super important, so make sure you research that one. Key point number 3 is understanding gear characteristics. Not all gear is created the same. With so many choices out these days, it's good to understand your personal values in a piece of gear before you actually buy. So sort these factors in order of importance. So those factors would be functionality, safety, comfort, ease of use, cost value, reliability, durability, and weight. These factors are give and takes, so you can't have all of them. So let's say you want an ultra comfortable setup from pack to tent. Your weight probably won't be at the top of your list. There are no right or wrong answers here, even though it seems that your pack weight should be at the top of your list. You should keep your pack weight down as much as possible. Just side note, pack weight isn't the biggest factor for everyone. So sort through these characteristics on your own to better understand your personal values and narrow down your gear search even more. All right, now time for that pro tip all of y'all have been waiting for. Consider renting your gear before actually buying. I know several guiding companies rent out their gear, so you can contact them. Also, REI has a program where you can rent gear through them, so it's definitely a good idea to do that to understand gear in general. And then if you don't like it, then you don't have to keep it. You can just return it back to them, which you should always return gear back. But just saying, rent gear before buying. So to conclude, when thinking about purchasing gear, remember to ponder your adventure, understand your personal values, and then keep in mind those gear specs that we talked about and make sure to research them. If you follow these steps, you'll become a smarter consumer and you won't blindly follow the advice of others. So before I talked about getting some reputable resources in your research, so some I use are the Trek. REI website is a really good option. Another one is Andrew Sikurka. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He wrote a book for National Geographic all about gear, and I use that thing like crazy. But he now has a website, andrewsikurka.com. And then also go to your local gear shop. I worked at one, and everyone was required to have a simple knowledge of backpacking gear, and then they built on it with their own personal experiences. So definitely go to a gear shop and try to pick their brain a little bit, especially when you're fitting for shoes or fitting a pack. For some final remarks, try not to stress out too much when researching all this gear. You can really dive deep and kind of jump into a rabbit hole and just research the heck out of everything and just stress yourself out. I know I did that and it didn't help me at all. Know your end goal and understand the end goal of getting outside and having an awesome adventure. Comment with any questions related to buying gear. Also comment if you have any advice for anyone when purchasing items for backpacking. Lastly, subscribe to the Trek and also to my personal channel, which is the Dower Duo. That's all for today. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a future video. Bye guys!